Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? So, I just come in here. First thing I see Paula's got something. Paula's wanting something from you, Rick.
I hope it's little Rick. He's being such a holdout with the new home. So good to see him shed a tear. Yeah. Mute all this stuff. That way you guys don't get a back feed. I do have some new news about the house, Paula, and I will share it tonight. So
we don't have this first time we've done a live like this. We don't really have an agenda. We don't have a guest. So, we probably are going to be alternating, a topical session and then something just kind of what we're calling just going freestyle.
that's what Papa calls it.
What do you want to call it?
I don't know. Just chatting with the Ricks.
So we're just going to call it chatting with the Ricks then. So,
hey, maybe Crazy Homestead, how are you?
Answer any questions that you might have and just kind of tell you what's going around. So this will be our version of kind of like a Wednesday night video log in live style.
Just a live. Who we got in here? So we got Freehandly Maid. She was the first. I saw her throw up. I think they call that the dab, where they the emoji didn't even show up. It literally just says elbow cough, like that. Madeline was doing a whole bunch of that.
I saw this video earlier on YouTube. I found this video on YouTube. Madeline was in there dancing, and she was doing the Macarena to no music whatsoever. So I went on to YouTube, and I found this evolution of dance, and it starts in 2000 and goes all the way to 2020, and it's dances from every year. So about every 30 seconds or 20 seconds, it's transitioning between all these dances. It was amazing. She was doing dances from 2000 that she actually knew. It was pretty funny. Ricky's got her on video doing it.
Yeah,
funny.
She's a nut. Jesus is Lord. Good evening. How are you? Betty Jean. We got of course, Miss Paula. We already highlighted one of hers. That's where she gets from. Wonder who will cry tonight. That's what she was referring to.
Yeah. So Nisi from Freehandly Maid. This is the hat that this whole camera thing screws with my head. This is the hat that I ordered a month ago that I was going to send everybody in advance of that of the Autism Live, and I never got them. I got them yesterday. So you'll be getting Nisi, Tasha, and Misty will all three be getting this hat in the mail.
Not that one.
No, not this hat. You're going to be getting a new one in the mail.
It hasn't been on Papa's big noggin. We're going to send you a brand new hat.
My big noggin. You got the big noggin.
I know. All the hats have been worn by me because I have like an astronomically large head.
We call it a bowling ball head. He gets it from
bowling ball head, and I get it from LaLa's side of the family. Get it from my mom's side because everybody on her side of the family has massively round heads, and so everybody calls them bowling ball heads. And playing football in high school and all that kind of stuff, it was quite humorous because I always had to get a specially ordered helmet. JV, varsity, all of it. I had to get a massive helmet to fit this dome of mine.
For big old noggins. Yeah. Big old noggin helmet.
Crafty Hobbit, Rebecca, how are you? That is my sister.
Oh, where's she at?
She's in here just says hi with a hi emoji.
Oh.
So
my daughter.
Yep. Maybe crazy. We've Twinbrook Acres, Abby's Life on the Farm.
Got Michael Harris.
My Alabama Farm Life. So yep, my Alabama Farm Life says nice hat. I'm assuming she's talking about you because you can't hardly see my hat because it's camouflage.
Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate that. This was the hat I was supposed to be wearing on the live last week, but it took literally a month to get this hat, close to a month, not quite a month.
Yeah.
So this is the hat that I was going to send to the guests on last week's live. And so Twinbrook Acres said they're going to come and hang out with us tonight because they said we're just hanging out with Rick. Well, Rick, you're right. We don't have anything on the agenda. There's no guests tonight. It's just kind of going through and chatting with folks, answering any questions, and kind of telling you what's going.
Hey, Michael Harris, how are you, buddy? Says hello, everyone. Come on with the come on. Come on with the come on. Yee.
Jesus is Lord. At least you weren't called drive-in movie.
Oh, so, wow. Yeah, you got like a 10 head. Yeah. That's what they call it nowadays, 10 head. Yeah.
No, I've joked with Rick and his mother literally for decades now. Ever since he was little tiny, he's had this perfectly round head. Take your head off, Ricky. Take your head. Show him your round head. He gets his round head from his mama, and I call her father. I say he's got a bowling ball head because it's their whole family's perfectly round, like Charlie Brown. It's kind of funny. So, and they're big, so their hats got to go all the things on the back. They got the snapback. They got to go all the way to the end to make the hat fit. So,
Mackenzie, how are you?
Jesus Lord, here's a funny story. So this last weekend, I was out in my garden working. See, and this reminds me from the comment you just made about your forehead. So my head hurts right here because I was walking into my garden structure and I didn't duck my head down where I should have ducked my head down and walked flat into a 2x6 at full speed. So I'm wearing this hat for the good of the team, but if I weren't on here, this would not be here.
He'd look like a unicorn
because my head hurts right there in that spot because I donged it.
Yeah, Steve has a large noggin too. So all of my kids, you got Madeline who takes after. She has a lot of Robinson in her, which is my dad's side of the family. She has very little George after she kind of grew out of that toddler stage. You may be
asking what a George is. George is LaLa's maiden name.
Yeah, so that's my mom's side. And so she had a lot of George in her whenever she was like younger in a toddler stage. She looked just like my mom, freakishly like my mom. And then she grew out of that pretty quick, got rid of she wasn't a chunky monkey for very long. And then she grew up and now she kind of looks like my dad's sister. A cross between my dad's sister and my sister. And but then you got Rick Isaac, who looks just like me in his baby pictures, but he's like a stick figure nowadays. And then you got Patrick, who has a perfectly round head. Like it is, I mean,
daddy.
Yeah, you got like, this small figured kid, and then you have this massive balloon with eyeballs and a nose. So yeah, he's got a big old head. So what's going on, Jules?
We got some questions in here. Let me hit. So we've kind of called out everybody in here for moderators today. It looks like Paula might be the only one in here, I believe.
So far, usually more people show up.
So Paula, thank you. And I've got a surprise for Paula, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, it's going to be an entirely complete surprise.
Is that going to be on the live tonight?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell her anything.
Well, I'm not going to.
And here's what I've learned about Paula. Paula does not like surprises. They drive her bonkers. She likes to know what's going on. And I'm not going to tell her nothing. It's going to be a complete and utter surprise. All I'm going to say is, Paula, I got something for you, and I'm going to send it to you. But I'm not even going to tell you when. Might be tomorrow. Might be 2 weeks from now. I'm not going to tell you.
It's a surprise.
See, she's probably, her blood pressure is probably going up right now. I know it is. Her blood pressure is probably going through the roof. I gotta know now.
So, hey, Dad, how much did we raise for that autism thing last week?
The
Autism Livestream
fundraising for last week, total raise was $425 over the course of that 1 hour show. So if you weren't here last week, I think probably most everybody in here was. We are donating that to the Organization for Autism Research. That organization does exactly what it says. They fund research for autism-related causes. And, a lot of times the thing that drives me bonkers with a lot of nonprofits is how little money actually goes to programs versus overhead for these nonprofits. Well, 83 cents of every dollar goes to fund programs for the Organization for Autism Research, which is really, really, really high. That's a very good number.
Hey, Tina Ladybug.
So I wanted to call out some of the folks that donated last week. These were $10 donations. Little Frenchie in Big Texas, Chris Clever Craft, Lori's World, Mary's Ranch and Wild Cooking, Simply Jan Homestead, and Jules Small Gardening. Those were all $10 donations. Much, much, much appreciated. $20 donations come from Garden State Gardener, Twin Brook Acres, Highland Homestead, and Paula Wells. $25 from Soil Mates of Georgia. I just love that name. That's a cool channel name, Soil Mates of Georgia. Voon Child, $50, and Michael Harris and the LaLa Farm, $100 each. So total raised again $425. So we were really, really stoked when we totaled it all up. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be get that many super chats during that, and you guys definitely showed up. So we were happy to be able to donate that money. That's for sure.
So there was some questions in here. Something about I think it was Jesus is Lord. Have you made any more progress on the home yet?
Yes, I had already started yes. So on the house, nothing changed until today. So I was told yesterday because we have Betsy, who is a Great Pyrenees, and Great Pyrenees, if you guys have heard the nickname for them, it is Great Escapanese. And so they constantly move their territory, and they're constantly moving their territory outwards. So instead of trying to move the screens around a little bit, instead of staying in with the goats like LaLa and Papa had originally gotten Betsy for, she was raised with chickens, and so they ended up raising her with chickens, and that's where she was born, and she stayed there until she came over to the farm, and then we put her in with the goats, and she does a really good job of protecting the entire property. But as soon as she learned how to jump a fence, I mean, you can Papa will agree, she jumps through every fence that you possibly put up, and if you put up 4x4 hog panel, she'll find a way to jump right through that. And so we got a gate in the back of the property, and she jumps through it. Well, I've also asked the salesman for the mobile home, hey, get in touch with all these contractors that are going to be coming over and attempt to inform them of the fact that we have a very large dog on the property that loves to wander. And so I got home yesterday, and I pulled up to my house, and sure enough, the gate is wide open.
And Betsy generally will not leave the property.
Yeah.
I mean, she stops at the perimeter fence.
Yeah, but she luckily there was so much noise going on back there. I'm sure everybody's heard a dump truck. They dump all the dirt, and then as soon as they start pulling off, of course, the tail end of it picks up, and then as soon as it rounds the top, it slings back and makes that huge racket. Betsy does not like loud noises, so I'm sure that's probably what kept her up at the barn. So luckily, she did not get out, but she stayed at the property. But that was one of the first things LaLa did this morning, knowing that the septic tank guys were coming back today, and the lap in guys and trim out guys and stuff like that, they were coming back today. She left Betsy in the chicken coop all day long, so she did good. But so I got home. I digress because it went off in a totally different direction. I went to work, got home this afternoon, and the ends on the lapping, the lap ends have been completely sided out. So there's vinyl siding around the entire house. Still no skirting. And then the interior trim guy came, and he did a really, really, really good job He did a really, really, really good job until he completely ran out of trim. And so now about half of the house is done inside as far as sealing that middle seam. And, he can't do anything until Scott Built comes back out and either gives more material or they finish the job. So hopefully that won't be too much longer. I got to reach out to them tomorrow. But as of right now, it's coming together. It came together pretty quick today. We made a lot of progress. Now there's like 10 loads of dirt that's just kind of sitting out on the side of our house, by the side of our house, waiting for that septic. So
here's one you might not know about Florida. So a lot of places around the country have septic systems. In Florida, though, because the water table is so high, there's parts of our property when we were putting the fence posts in that when we go down 3 foot with the auger and then pull the auger out from the tractor, and the bottom of that hole is full of water and it's literally flowing into that hole. So there's parts of our property where we can we're really into the water table at under 2 foot or so. So because the water table is so high that they have to come out and pull a soil sample. And that soil sample, depending on how much water is in that sample, they will determine how large and where your septic system is. So we on this property have what's called above ground septic system. So they're big hills that are mounded up, and then they build the septic system above grade. So that's where all the dirt's going to be coming for Rick's septic system, is they have to build this thing above ground. So there's a lot of dirt back there, he says, but they'll take it all. I mean, I think our leach field is probably 25 foot wide by 50 foot long. And it's this gigantic mound that it's kind of hidden in the trees, so you don't see it, but there's a lot of them down here that are out in the wide open. And you just see this gigantic hill in somebody's front yard and kind of looks weird.
Yeah, and if it's not a gigantic hill, then you'll know it's a septic tank because it will be bright green. So we got like the old house. At the old house, that wasn't a mound. You would never even be able to find. This is the house that I didn't grow up in this house, but this is the house that as soon as we moved out to Baker County, this is the house that we moved into. My dad, my mom and dad, and then of course I lived with them because I couldn't leave them yet. But they had a septic that was well buried, because it was more or less a high and dry property. And the only way you could tell is whenever I cut the grass, it was tough. You had to slow down or you'd bog and it would shut off the mower. So Whiskey and Sunshine off grid. Saw Ed Hall, my buddy Ed Hall. That's my partner at work. I couldn't even do these lives if it wasn't for him. So we got a comment from Maybe Crazy Homestead. So Tasha, he says, so funny you bring this up, talking about the Great Pyrenees that we have. The Anatolians.
She's got a 4 to 5 month old Anatolian Shepherd, and man, I'm struggling training this dog, and he escapes everything. So here's the deal. Livestock guardian dogs take a long time to train. We've had 2, and one of them we tried, and it really depends on some people will swear by Anatolians for goats. Other people, such as, we won't have an Anatolian because they're one of the more aggressive LGDs. So we went with a Great Pyrenees Caracachan mix, which is what Betsy is. And that Great Pyrenees, the Caracachan is a very protective dog. She is a great protector. But like Rick said, she was raised for the first 4 months of her life. She was born in a chicken coop and she lived with the chickens. So we bought her to be a goat livestock guardian dog. And she wasn't here for 3 months before she realized that I can get away from these goats and go spend time with the chickens, which is what she does. She sleeps with the chickens at nighttime. If she hears, people don't believe me when I say we don't have a hawk problem because Betsy will patrol the chicken coops waiting for any bird to fly overhead, and she chases and gets rid of it. we have the safest chickens you could ever imagine because of Betsy. She doesn't care about the goats. You could have coyotes killing a goat, but
I was about to say it's kind of funny because if you so I'll walk out there this afternoon, and this was when me and Chelsea were going to check on the house to see what kind of progress was made, and I hear baby Blue or Blue Baby or whatever my mom calls her. It's one of the bottle babies that we have. And she is screaming, almost sounds like she's gotten stuck in a fence. And I didn't know it was Blue Baby at first. And so I'm walking out there and all I hear is just screaming. And it ended up being Blue Baby, but not a single time did you hear Betsy move. Not a single time did you see Betsy react to it. Nothing. She had no reaction to that. But I guarantee you, if you hear a squabble of chickens where they're just starting to get all restless, and I guarantee you'll see Betsy like that.
She is gone like a streak if she hears a chicken squawking.
Yep.
It's just she does not care about the goat. So what we're doing, Tasha, is we're looking really hard and being very, very, very picky. And we haven't found the right fit yet, but we are looking for a Maremma, probably a pair of Maremmas. And that's what we are going to use in our paddocks. So
Mom's been looking for Maremmas forever.
Yeah, I mean, we found some, but we really picky. They've got to be raised with goats, and if they're not, then we're not going to buy them. And we've been willing to go. We found one up in Ohio. We'd be willing to go to Ohio and get them if. Excuse me. This is the problem, and I'm still trying to get over 2 weeks later. We were going to go to Ohio and get these dogs, and come to find out they were raised with cattle. They were not raised with goats, so we chose not to do that. One day we will find them. We want probably two females, and so the way that we kind of the farm will be configured is we're going to have one with the does, one with the bucks, and then Betsy will be kind of the roamer. So we'll have the local sheriffs in each paddock, and then we'll have the state police, which will be Betsy roaming the entire property.
The one lonely, hopefully it's one lonely state police officer. Hopefully there's only one trooper, because we sure as hell do not want multiple dogs just kind of roaming the property at all hours of the night.
She will not let anything into
She does a great job doing it by herself. Right. So this is the first time excrement doesn't flow up as far as I know. I think I'm pretty sure she's talking about septic.
She's talking about septic. And here's the deal with that. So, Paula, excrement does flow uphill. Our septic, the way that our septic tank, because if you look at some of the older videos, you can kind of see where our property is at a pretty significant grade from going from south to north. And so when the discharge, the sewage comes out of our house, it goes into the actual septic tank. And if you know how those systems work, the solids settle in the septic tank, and then the liquids will flow out of that tank, and that's what goes into a leach field. But because our property is on a grade, when it comes out of the house, it goes into the septic system, and then we've got a lift pump that pumps from the septic tank into the leach field. So it actually pumps the liquid out and then pumps the liquid up into the leach field, which is about 2 foot higher. And then we have the septic folks, they come in and pump the actual solids out every couple of years, and we don't have any problem. So
yeah, ours is going to be the same as yours, Dad. You can do the gravity fed ones, but they, a lot of the time, unless your house is like really, really, really high off the ground, or if you're high off the ground, but if your septic is on a low side of your property, at that point they can have it gravity fed into the septic. But like with ours is on the high side of the property. And then it comes. I also did not want to have an exposed large piece of poop pipe running out the side of my house, so it's going to be buried. I mean, I try to take pride, and so that was something that I didn't want to have to try to cover up or make it look like it wasn't a poop pipe. It's already a big enough deal that you got a massive mound. You don't want to make it stand out even more by having a big PVC pipe. So I don't know what a Tibetan is. Maybe Crazy Homestead said, if I ever get another livestock guardian dog, it will either be a Tibetan or a Spanish Mastiff. Now I know what a Spanish Mastiff is.
I've never heard of those as LGDs, frankly. So I don't know nothing about those.
The Mastiff or Matif.
I think it's Mastiff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Mastiff. Mastiffs, hell, they're just as big as Betsy is, and yes, that is a livestock guardian dog.
Paul, I'm not sure what you're referring to. How does that even work? So leave another comment. I'm trying to catch up with you. We got someone new that I don't think we've seen in here before. Brenda Baker, welcome, Brenda. If this is the first live, if it is not, then I apologize.
I have not seen her in a live, but I have. She is she frequents on our videos. So welcome.
So welcome. This is the first time I've lived on a septic, and ours is like that. Supposedly it's better because it's gravity fed. Yeah, our old house, the one before we built this house, was a completely gravity fed system, and it works, and it will work for a long time. You just got to make sure that you pump them, and you won't have a problem with them.
But it's really like that with anything. Even if you don't have a gravity fed, you still have to make sure it's pumped because if you don't clean out your septic, then you just got a big pile of poop in your backyard. So let's get this segment going real quick.
Okay. So as you guys know, we always honor military and first responders, and we're going to continue to do that each week. So we really are supporters of the blue, red, and green. So Rick is going to do the first part. The first week we started putting first responders in. We did law enforcement last week. We did a firefighter, and this week we're going back to another law enforcement officer.
Yeah. So this happened. Like Papa said, let me get this right here. So this is Trooper Chad Walker from the Texas Highway Patrol. Texas Highway Patrol Trooper Chad Walker was ambushed on Friday evening while responding to what he apparently thought was a disabled vehicle parked on the side of a rural road outside of Mexia, which is a small town about 40 miles northeast of Waco. Walker, who was alone, pulled behind a vehicle and was shot in the head and abdomen before he could get out of his patrol car. He was rushed to the hospital, and then after extensive life-saving efforts, Trooper Walker was placed on life support and to await his organs being donated. Texas Department of Public Safety said in a statement Monday, this final sacrifice embodies Trooper Walker's actions throughout his life and service as a Texas Highway Patrolman. Trooper Chad Walker was a husband and a father of a 15-year-old son, a 7-year-old twin daughters, and a 2-month-old baby. So, hats
off to Trooper Walker.
Most definitely.
This is Technical Sergeant John Chapman of the United States Air Force. Sergeant Chapman was killed in action March 14th of 2002 in Takur, Afghanistan. His Medal of Honor citation reads, Technical Sergeant John A. Chapman distinguished himself by extraordinary heroism as an Air Force Special Tactics Combat Controller attached to a Navy SEAL team conducting reconnaissance operations in Takur, Afghanistan on March 4th, 2002. During insertion, the team's helicopter was ambushed, causing a teammate to fall into an entrenched camp of enemy combatants below. Sergeant Chapman and the team voluntarily reinserted onto the snow-capped mountain in the heart of a known enemy stronghold to rescue one of their own. Without regard for his own safety, Sergeant Chapman immediately engaged, moving in the direction of the closest enemy position despite coming under heavy fire from multiple directions. He fearlessly charged an enemy bunker up a steep incline in thigh-deep snow and into hostile fire, directly engaging the enemy. On reaching the bunker, Sergeant Chapman assaulted and cleared the position, killing all enemy occupants. With complete disregard for his own life, Sergeant Chapman deliberately moved from cover only 12 meters from the enemy and exposed himself once again to attack a second bunker from which an emplaced machine gun was firing on his team. During this assault from an exposed position directly in the line of intense fire, Sergeant Chapman was struck and injured by enemy fire. Despite severe mortal wounds, he continued to fight relentlessly, sustaining a violent engagement with multiple enemy personnel before making the ultimate sacrifice. By his heroic actions and extraordinary valor, sacrificing his life for the lives of his teammates, Technical Sergeant Chapman upheld the highest traditions of military service and reflected great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. So, hats off to Sergeant Chapman and Texas State Trooper Chad Walker.
Whew. Those are always hard to get through.
Very tough.
Tell you what.
So we had a question in here, and from the Crafty Hobbit, and again, that's my daughter.
The Prego cats?
No, even sooner than that. So she's kind of dropping some news that we haven't even talked about yet. So LaLa has been kind of working my ear for several weeks to try to get another breed of goats on the farm. And so finally, one of her very good friends who she's involved with 4-H, she's one of the other livestock leaders in the local 4-H chapter, has decided that she's getting out of goats. And she has an entire Nigerian dwarf herd that we will be acquiring. So we will have now our Kiko herd, one Nubian, probably 3 or 4 either full bred or partial boars, and now an entire Nigerian dwarf herd, which I think is 10 or 12. How many? 9 animals. So one registered buckling. 2 of the mamas have just delivered, so 2 of them have babies nursing still. And but she's interested in that because there's a really good market for Nigerian dwarfs. Our Kikos we essentially send to the meat barn or to the sale barn for meat each year. And while we do that, it makes us a little bit of money. Pays for the feed. She really wants to be able to breed some that she can then sell as pets and kind of have relationships with people. So she's really looking forward to this as well. So look forward to that. I'm not sure what the timeline is for that. If LaLa gets her way, it will be like as soon as possible.
Brenda Baker, tell your husband thank you for his service. She says, my husband is a veteran and retired firefighter of 23 years. So,
well, Brenda, our hats off to him. Last week we did our salute was to a fallen firefighter from New York who lost his life in a very large fire. So thank your husband for his service and his service as a firefighter. Like Rick said, that's awesome.
Oh, you lost one of the triplets. Come on Homestead. He did a video. I can't remember exactly when. It wasn't too long ago. It was within the last week or two of goats kidding. He says he lost one of the triplets today. That sucks, man. This year has been. I tell you what, like this year has been.
David, I think this has been the year because we've had a higher mortality rate this year, but I think it's because all of this rain has been horrible. We get rain every year, but not like this, and the ground has just been soppy wet. And
it's not that time of year. Like there's a portion of the year in Florida that literally like just every day you can count on it raining. But we went like a month and a half every day, all day. It just rained and rained and rained. You'll hear Floridians say, "Whew, we need the rain, man." We were ready to give it away to anybody who would take it. Yeah, it was bad.
My pond this time of the year, generally speaking, is down about 2.5 feet. Right now, it's down about 6 inches. So we have had crazy amounts of rain this year. So
Boots and Bonnet, how are you?
We got John in here from Willow Grove. Welcome, John. What you making for dinner, man? I appreciate your support, brother. Got Bomber Steve in here. Still wait. I think your shirts shipped yesterday, Steve. So they will come to my office and then I'll get them off to you. I got some other stuff that I'm going to send you because you're like the history buff. So I got something else I'm going to throw in that package to you as well. So.
Homestead Aquarius, thumbs up. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Go close.
I did not think that this whole live would go the direction of septic tank discussions, but
I'm telling you, we talked about poop for like the first. we talked about poop for like the first 5 or 10 minutes.
This is kind of fun. You never know where these discussions are going to go. Septic systems have come a long way. When I was a kid, the lake had to directly into the lake. Well, that's kind. We had to watch out for chocolate bars while swimming. Yeah, I don't. It was when I was in the military, and I don't think they're allowed to do this anymore. I mean, once we get 25 miles offshore, they would start dumping sewage right into the ocean. I don't think they do that anymore. I think they've got to hold that and wait till they can pump it elsewhere. I might be wrong.
It wouldn't surprise me if they have like poop ships. Literally, all they do is like drive around and pick up poop from naval ships. They got like they got the big airplanes, that the gassers, the tanker, the ones that just literally drive around. It's literally a flying bomb. Wouldn't surprise me if they have like literally like a poop ship, and that's all they do is they pick up poop. So Big Rick, Little Rick, got to get back to work. Thank you, Voon, for stopping in. We do appreciate it. So another thing that Rebecca, or I'm not going to call her Rebecca, another thing that Crafty Hobbit had kind of just got home. Another thing that Crafty Hobbit had said is that's a big no-no now. I don't know what you're talking about, Ed. Something about poop, I'm assuming.
Who said
I missed the poop talk. Who was that? That was Homestead. I think, was that Homestead? Man, I don't know the comments. Yeah, Homestead Aquarius said I missed the poop talk with a sad face. But Rebecca, or Crafty Hobbit, also said in one of her questions about the cats and how are the pregnant cats doing. So the 4 cats that we got, this was if you go back to where we were doing our Rick versus rodent, and Dad won one time. He has 1 point. Twice. Okay, twice. Now, well, since then, these cats have been doing a phenomenal job.
I've not seen a single rat.
The cats have been doing a phenomenal job with keeping away these the rats and mice. The thing is, we went ahead and we got 4 cats originally from a shelter that picks up feral cats, and they give them away for free. For people like us, where we have large acreage and we really don't want pet cats. We want working cats, barn cats, more or less. Well, these cats have become much less. They've become domesticated again. They are really not feral. Today, Tiger actually followed me from up front by Mom and Dad's house back towards the back one where we're staying at, and so yeah, they're not really feral in my opinion anymore. But Tiger and Kiki are now pregnant. We still have Butt Nugget. Butt Nugget still floats around everywhere. Unfortunately, we have not seen Buster in quite a while. I think it's like 2 weeks now. So we don't know where Buster's at. But Butt Nugget is still around, and Kiki and Tiger are now pregnant. So they're walking around with big old fat cat bellies.
Kimberly or LaLa said a couple of weeks ago, she said, I think those cats are pregnant. And I said, well, they're only about 5 or 6 months old. I said, how's that even possible? So we got the boys fixed. But I'm thinking we didn't get the boys fixed quick enough because we think they mated their sister. So I don't know all the ins and outs genetically of that, but
Hey, Cajun Hydroponics, how are you, bud?
so we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to take them if once they deliver, because both of them literally their bellies are perfectly round like they've swallowed a softball. So we think we're going to have some more farm cats. So we might have to take the entire litter. But apparently we planned on getting them all done at the same time. But apparently with cats, it's much more invasive than it is with dogs. So we got the boys done, and we had it scheduled to have the girls done. But now we found out they're pregnant, so we can't do it. So
hey, Darren, good day, mate.
Darren, how are you, buddy? I haven't forgot about you. I'm gonna shoot you an email. I said I was gonna do it 2 days ago. Just had too many irons in the fire, brother. I will be in touch with you tomorrow or probably tonight. I can shoot you an email. I don't think it's gonna be. Darren's gonna be on next week. We're gonna do a live knife design. He's going to be constructing me a knife, and we're going to figure out how all of the mechanics that go into kind of building and selecting and designing the knife. So that'll be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that. Hey, Kyle, how are you? Kyle Randall, that's Paula's hubby. I'm going to be meeting him in September when they come over.
I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun. We love having guests over here. Probably we're trying to get Michael Harris trying to get back over here, but I'm going to be out of town the end of this month when they wanted to come over. So, so these Nigerian dwarfs. So LaLa wants to she wants to kind of spread and get some that she can now sell as pets. So I don't know when we're going to get that. She's got to figure out some logistics with how she's going to.
What she had said today whenever she come up, because I literally just found out about this like 5 minutes before we went live. So this is really new to me too. But no, I'd asked her when she was going to be able to do it, and she said that she has to go ahead and get like health checks and all that kind of stuff first, because technically, even though it's only like 10 minutes away, it is still crossing the Florida-Georgia border. So,
and if you don't know, we can't. It is really, really difficult to get livestock into or out of Florida because, for example, I could drive all the way to New York State, and the only place that I have to stop with my livestock is at the Florida-Georgia line, because you've got to have livestock inspected when it leaves the state, and you've got to have livestock inspected when it comes into the state. You can't move livestock over state lines out of Florida or into Florida without a veterinarian health certificate. So we've got to have all of the goats. This whole herd has to be health checked by a veterinarian, and then the
good thing is we can get it knocked out of the way really quick, because literally it's 5 minutes down the road.
Right. So
it's not like you're well, yeah, once you get out of Florida, you're good. So the Beehive Homestead, Dad.
Go ahead. So we
go ahead.
We right now we have one swarm that we have caught. I intended to get another couple of traps out last weekend. Just didn't get to it. I was too wound up in the garden. I had to go out of town. I had to go down to Vero Beach for some work Sunday and Monday, and I just got back late Monday night. So it's been busy. And then yesterday I was down in Central Florida. Didn't get back until late afternoon. So it's been really, really wound up. But I hope to get a couple more traps out this weekend. And if we can catch one more trap this year, then we will have 3 hives. I've got one very good swarm that we caught 2 weeks ago. Probably will have a video on that this weekend. I'll film
on accident.
That.
On accident. Yeah, it was not on purpose.
We're going to get that kind of moved over, get the new bee yard set up, because we're moving the bee yard. The old one used to be behind where the greenhouse is now. So we're moving it from there. We're moving it across from where the garden structure is, so that when the garden is blooming, they'll have lots of plants in there to pollinate. So it's going to go under a pine tree, kind of in front of the garden area. But like Rick said, we didn't intend to catch even the hive or the swarm that we did last year when we put our traps out. We caught one. We only put out 2 last year. We caught one. In the other trap, we didn't catch anything in. So I just took it and just put it up on top of my chemical cabinet out in the workshop. And I just kind of forgot it was there. It's been sitting up there for a solid year, since last spring. And a couple of weeks ago, LaLa comes in. She says, there is bees everywhere out there. And she looked up at this box, and they were bearded all the way down the front. So they just attached themselves. So within 48 hours, they had moved from that bearding phase on the front of the trap and moved into the hive.
Well, hold on, because I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody else can help me out. But this right here was taking about an hour before we went. Starts playing. Oh. There you go. All right.
Did you take that?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Papa was talking to you while the video was playing, but I had to tell him. I said it mutes you whenever the video is playing.
So I'm going to be setting up the new bee yard this year. I hope that this is the perfect time to catch a swarm, because I thought I was a little bit late by a few weeks. So we're going to set them out this weekend. Hopefully I can get one more. But if we can get 2 or 3 hives, I'd be really, really happy. And
hey, Lori's World.
My record so far has not been very good with bees. I'm so far 0 for 3.
Yeah, but a lot of that, I mean, it was a team effort, and so definitely not on.
So far I'm 0 for 3 overwintering them. And so this year, if I can get me 3, I'm going to really kind of make a concerted effort to keep them alive over winter. You just get, it's really
that's exactly what I was saying. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Beehive Homestead, did you see the queen inside the hive? We have not opened up the hive yet. We did not want to disturb them. We did not want to disturb them until we were closer or closer ready to move them. But it looked like the queen was still on the outside because of the bees. That's exactly what I said. That's what I thought because whenever they originally had gotten there, it looked like they had literally just gotten there. And so they may have, because Papa had said it had been sitting there for a while. And so it was probably dirty as all get out inside. So they were probably cleaning it out. And while they were cleaning it, our thought process was maybe the queen is on the outside of the box. And that's where all those other bees are literally surrounding her. So that was taken today. So I don't know if it's normal for her to kind of move back outside the box.
Yeah, they were bearding, and then they all went in, and that's the first time I've seen them bearded again in the last.
Well, that literally just, like I said, it's out there right now. But the good thing is the first day that we saw them, and I was looking for this, and I was telling Papa, I said, I don't, Crafty Hobbit, I want some beeswax. You're coming down shortly.
You've gotten all my beeswax so far. I got to keep some.
Well, we messed up. That's because remember she told us how to do it. We completely messed that up.
Yeah.
No. So the first day that I saw them, me and LaLa are the ones that found them, and we took video of them. The first day we found them, there was no bees whatsoever coming back with pollen on their feet or pollen on their legs or anything. And this time, I don't know if it showed up in that video, but there was several bees that were actually bringing back pollen to the hive. So that was a good sign. So,
well, Beehive Homestead, I think that's the issue, because in the morning when I go out there, when I've gone out there last several mornings, they're all inside, and then they kind of tend to come out and beard in the afternoon. Is the only time I've seen them bearded like that, except when they first went in there. So I don't know. We're gonna move it probably this weekend and put it into a 9 frame and do a 10 frame box, and we'll see.
It could very well be that they are, because that is a huge hive. Like, I mean, whenever I first saw it, I was like, man, that's a lot bigger than any of the hives that we had last year that we caught. That seemed like it was a much, much larger. Next project is to build the top bar beehive.
So, Ed, Are you going to come help with this top bar beehive? I'd love to build one, but I need a helper bee.
Oh, he wants to learn. He
Nope.
wants to learn. I mean, we literally talk about it every day. The dilemma is Alicia, which is his wife, is all about like building the raised beds. They've actually he's taught her how to use the drill and all that kind of stuff. So she's been jamming out raised beds made out of those like blue barrels. They're cutting them in half, kind of like what I was telling you that I was thinking about possibly doing back at our house, but putting like a 2x4 frame. And he said she's been knocking those things out like it's going out of style.
Oh, also help her be such a dad joke.
But no, the thing
I can't help it, Paul.
He's already said like he's already got some stuff planted in his raised beds that him and Alicia have already made, but he brought up the possibility of doing bees, and she shot that down really quick. She wants nothing to do with bees. So,
well, Ed, we're always looking for labor on the weekends.
Yep. Well, see, that's the hard thing is because when this thing is in my hands, he's hiding away from his. So, yeah, whenever I'm on call, he's hiding. He goes out of town. He goes fishing. He goes camping. He does whatever he can do to get as far away from the prison as possible. And then the same thing, vice versa. My busy weekend is the weekend that he's the one taking the phone calls. So,
you know what's funny, Beehive Homestead is when I first got bees, LaLa, we had the hives. Way back, kind of way away from the house, because LaLa was terrified of even going in vicinity of those bees. And then I moved him from that to a spot closer up to the paddocks, and she started getting closer. So now she will walk past them because she's had this epiphany that just because there's a bee, they're not going to swarm, attack, and kill her, which is kind of the misconception with a lot of people with bees. Bees don't want to sting you because when they do, they're going to die. But if you do something aggressive against them, then they're going to come after you. You just don't give them any mind, and they're fine.
Yeah, and then you get like eventually you'll your spirits will get a little higher, and you'll get a little bit more courage in handling the bees, and then you start wearing less and less and less, and then eventually the bees get in your netting in your hat, and then they sting you, and then you get a lot of exercise running around the property trying to get the rest to stop stinging, right, Dad?
He's referencing me because as a very novice beekeeper, this is my first or second.
It was like the third time that we went in there because I videoed the first two, and I was videoing the third one until I realized that you weren't putting on a show for the camera. You were legitimate, like in danger, and so.
Yeah, when this was like the third hive inspection I'd ever done, and by that time I had never been stung in the three that I had done.
I appreciate that, Beehive Homestead.
So I was getting really super cocky that I'm like becoming a really good beekeeper. So I go out there and I put my veil on, I got my gloves on. That's it. I don't have the jacket on or anything. And I go in there. I don't even have smoke.
How's it going, Ed?
I popped the lid on that hive and, started messing around with them. Well, somehow one of them got up in my veil, and then two of them got up in my veil. Next thing I know, I got like a half a dozen bees up in my veil, and they're like stinging me. All said and done, at last count, I started running. I ran all the way down one side of the goat paddock, and I'm stripping off my clothes. So by the time I get,
that's how I found them.
By the time I get to the backside,
I just followed the clothes.
By the time I get to the backside, back by Rick's house, I've stripped my shirt off. I haven't yet taken my pants off or my shoes, but I got no clothes on, and I'm running through the goat field, and it took that far for the bees to stop chasing me. So at last count, I probably had 25 or 30 stings all over my head. So I stopped using the veil. Now it was pretty funny. Oh.
I really didn't know where he went. Like I was struggling to find him, and then finally I found the first thing that I found was eventually he was able to remove his hat, And I found the hat. I found the netting first, and then like another 10 or 15 yards, I found the hat, and then it was another 10 or 15 yards, I found the shirt. And before you know it, I was like, I finally found him in the center path, walking down the center of the property. Oh my Lord!
It's a good quarter mile. I mean, all the way around that. Probably.
Yeah, you haven't ran like that since high school.
Yeah, I was doing like a quarter mile sprint.
Oh God, that was fun. That was funny.
All right, let's do a giveaway. I was going to see who was in here because I had two questions, and one of them I'm not going to give. I'm going to say this question, but I'm not going to give anything away because given who's in here, this question will be answered. My guesstimate would be like 5 seconds.
Hey, Petway.
So this is just for fun. This is the question. First question I was going to do, but given who's in here, I think this is a bad question. It will get guessed too quickly. So just for fun, what's the only state with one syllable? What's the only state with one syllable? Maine. See, I knew that would be way too easy. All right. So even the Australian got it, Maine. So, all right. So here's the question. This is for a $10 Amazon gift card. What present-day state did Ponce de Leon explore? What present-day state did Ponce de Leon explore?
It's like a trivia question.
It is. It's from a random trivia question generator. Paula Wells, Florida. Nailed it. Paula Wells, Florida. Might have a lot of farm life. So Paula Wells gets it. See, there's a lot more variability in that question. So Paula wins. For the win. Free Haley Made, Florida. Mackenzie Lindstrom. Oh, hi, Kathleen. You're not answering. Jesus is Lord, Florida. Paula Wells gets the $10 Amazon gift card. See, I knew everybody would get that. Maine. That was a bad question. I found this random trivia generator thing online, and that's where I've been pulling questions from the last couple of weeks.
Hey, Dad.
What?
When are we going to see some things on the garden? Like, I want to do videos on the garden, and everybody else wants to see videos on the garden.
There are so many gardening videos out there right now. I don't think that everybody wants to see gardening videos. But yeah, but soon. I finished. I think Paula asked the question earlier about my doors. The doors are done. The enclosure's done. I just haven't done the structure video yet. I will do that this weekend. I've got 3 beds fully planted. I've got some tomato seeds in that have already germinated. We probably will put some peppers in the ground. I'm not waiting until they get really large because I don't need to. We're past the risk of frost now. So, some of them are in there only like 2 or 3 inches tall, but I put them in anyway. But we will, I'll get some gardening videos, probably do a couple of them this weekend. Because I did some leveling last weekend with the tractor, flattened it out. So now I can actually start doing the interior raised beds. Trying to source some wood chips right now is what I'm trying to do. So David over at Come On, if you're still on here, a source for wood chips in the area, somebody like Asplund or one of the tree service companies. Can you hook a brother up? I need probably 15 to 20 yards of wood chips.
That's a lot of wood chips.
It is a lot of wood chips, but I can mulch.
I never thought it was. I did not think it was. What is it? I did not know that it was pronounced that way for the longest time. Asplin. I thought it was like Asphalda.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's like a nationwide company, and I guarantee you hardly anybody knows how to properly pronounce their name. So
what else we got going on? We talked about the bees, kind of talked about the garden a little bit.
We got some feeder pigs eventually coming. I know that much.
we've got a friend of ours locally.
We made a trade.
Another kind of a 4-H friend. And that's one of the other livestock leaders from the 4-H chapter, does competitive pig showing. His son does, or both of his sons do. And Matthew might even be on here. He's sometimes on here. I'm trying to encourage Matthew to start his own YouTube channel. He says he's going to, and he hasn't yet because things have been really, really busy. I mean, him and his family are gone pretty much every weekend. So a lot of times we will go over there and kind of LaLa will take care of the pigs if they've got any back at their place when they're gone on the weekend showing. But
forest permaculture, please enlighten me on round leaf wood chips like alder, maple, and birch, not needle leaf trees.
Why is that?
Yeah, because down here we do have a lot of oak, but really there's only it is a sin to cut down a live oak tree. I don't know, like if you cut down a live oak tree, we make you move back up north in Florida. Like you're not allowed to do it. Water oaks, I don't know very many people in Baker County or even Florida that really, really, truly appreciate a water oak. But live oaks, I mean, that's a sin. The majority of what we have down here that people cut are either like little sapling trees that have just like gotten out of control, or pine trees. Pine trees all day. Like, I mean, Florida's built on a bed of pine tree seeds. So yeah, and we do have magnolias too. But again, people really don't cut down magnolia trees.
Yeah, unless they're diseased or something's wrong with them.
Yeah, because I mean they're really, really pretty. They're not the greatest on your grass. It's actually it's quite irritating when you have a magnolia tree, but and then they drop those big old cones. Pines are the devil. We've got so many pine trees.
We planted 5,000. We planted 5,000 pine trees when we bought this property.
Okay.
We've cut some of them down, but goats love them, and I think they're pretty. Until they start getting diseased, and we ended up taking last year. We had to bring a tree service in, and they took out probably 2 years ago, probably 15 pine trees because they had what are those little pine beetles in them. And once one tree's got them, chances are everything surrounding that is going to have them too. So
brown leaf is alkalizing, and the other needle trees are acidic.
Oh, all right.
So pine tree is good for bloop. Yeah.
Well, food forest permaculture, what I'm looking for is not necessarily. You must be talking about the composting them, but what I'm looking for is basically the pathways between the beds, so that
something that's not just dirt.
Yeah, something so I can kind of keep the weed control down. That's really what I'm looking for. But if we have extras, then I can compost them over time and then adjust the soil. But
I know a lot of people because I did landscaping for a really long time. I had a landscaping business in high school. I recently had a landscaping business. I mean, I've been doing landscaping for a really long time. Really enjoy it. And one of the things that we use frequently on a regular basis for landscape mulch, it's kind of like an alternative to mulch, wood chips, is pine needles. And the reason why we use pine needles is because one, there's an abundance of that in Florida. There are pine needle farms that all they do is they travel in between planted pine trees, and it's kind of like a hunting lease where while the pine trees are growing, you'll have hunters that pay to hunt on that property. Well, you'll have these massive pine farms, all these pine trees that are in the process of growing that during the fall. And the thing is, pine trees, they drop pine needles all year. But during the fall, I mean, it gets really, 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 really thick. And so they'll lease out a piece of property just to grab the pine needles off of that property while it's not hunting season. And so, like I said, there's just an absolute abundance of it. And so you can get it very, very inexpensive. And we would use that in landscaping as an alternative to wood chips for mulch. And another good thing is because Florida gets so much water, pine needles have a tendency to lock together. And so if water does come up underneath them, it doesn't wash over into the yard. Like Baker County, I mean, there's tons of people that brings ticks. So plant mint in a few pine trees bring ticks. So plant mint in a few places. Okay.
Cool.
That's a cool little nifty tip and trick.
Hey, Gil, Camp Patton or Camp. I always have trouble saying that. Camp Patton Family Compound. Welcome, sir.
They do have. We're going to end up getting some of that, Ed. So Ed says gravel, that place in O'Brien. O'Brien is a place in Florida that has a rock mine. And it is like, it completely cuts out the middleman. And the only
they sell directly to the public.
They sell to Dad the 7x16 foot trailer.
Yeah, you
can darn near fill up that entire trailer for $45 of rock.
Huh. Wow.
And they have 3 different sizes. You got like really, really small. Then you have like a medium size, which is what I would get for out around the stalls and whatnot out at the barn where it stays wet. And so that would also help keep the goat hoofs, from getting a hoof rot, which we haven't had an issue with hoof rot. We've had an issue with, what is it called? It's like they get sores and stuff. I can't remember what Mom was calling it, but it's because of the moisture and whatnot. But yeah, that would help a lot with keeping their hoofs naturally trimmed up. And then they have like literally crushed stone. It's almost like a cement style powder. So that's what he's talking about though, is the gravel, that place in O'Brien. You can get it for dirt cheap.
I didn't know that. Never heard of that before.
Yep. Well, we didn't either until some people at work showed up for we had a memorial built in the front by the admin building, and they literally filled up the entire trailer. And I said, well, how much was that? Said $45 for an entire load. I said, huh?
Wow.
Because I remember we bought crushed concrete.
Right.
We bought crushed concrete, recycled product, and that right there was $30 a yard.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
All right. Our moderator's telling us we're an hour in.
Thank you, Paula. So what else we got? We
kind of covered everything. We're getting some hogs later, but it's been fun just kind of seeing where the conversation goes, and we're probably going to do that. Probably going to do this every other week. We've got Darren on, as we're scheduled for Darren next week with Down Under Farm and Forge. I think that will be a lot of fun. I got to connect with Darren and just kind of make sure that he's still on for that. And then working on some others. I've got some, I'm trying to find channels that I find, really interesting content, not necessarily the channels themselves. That's kind of what we were doing with the get to know them piece, but topical issues. And I've talked to MB Heritage about doing something related to chicken breeding and how to select chickens to get certain characteristics in your chicken. So I'm trying to get that set up. Talk to Joyce from Morris Patch of Heaven about doing something with medicinal and natural healthy remedies. So she's I told you, Paula can't help it. She needs to know. She's got this need to know, and I'm not going to tell you.
All right. So the clue is, Paula. Dad's probably going to get mad for me telling you this.
Don't tell her.
But the clue is it is a secret. That's the clue is it's a secret.
That's funny. All right, we're going to wrap this up for tonight, folks. This has been a blast. Hope you guys have found it interesting as well. What's that say? Soil's made in layers, 1 inch every 10 years. So make your layers and beat nature. Yeah. Well, that's what we've kind of did that with filling our raised beds. It took literally, well, we built my first beds last spring, and we've just got them filled. So that we've basically layered the beds. At the very bottom, we use kind of just large branches and sticks, but that's like 3 feet deep. And then on top of that, we piled, in all of them, we get probably, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 bushels of goat poop every week. That goes into the next layer. So by the time we're done, we had this already filled up with grain bags, paper bags, goat poop, sticks and branches and leaves, and a lot of brown material. And then the last foot is really what we mix then with peat moss and bought compost that was made. So we have high hopes, and mix that in with some alfalfa pellets for some fertilizer. So we got big hopes for the soil. So we got 3 beds planted last weekend, and I'll probably plant the rest this weekend. We got a lot going on. So,
hey, food forest permaculture. Do you have your email on your about me?
that might be another interesting topic.
I know, Dad. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Yes, I got it. All right.
All right, well, folks, we are gonna did that Easter transplant in my starch garden. Fill up, yay. We're gonna wrap this up. I think I'm beginning to lose my voice, and I got a busy week this week, and I got to preserve my voice. I feel fine. I've just still got a lot of head congestion, and still my voice is in and out. So, thanks for all the prayers and blessings, folks. I've been getting lots of good tidings from folks saying I hope you feel better. I feel fine. I'm kind of back up and doing. It's just
thank you, Michael.
It's just the voice. Trying to keep it. All right, folks. This has been a blast. Had fun. So until next week, always remember, treat others as you would like to be treated. Good night, folks. Take care.
Good night, guys.